to my bad swag.
Welcome to Season 2 of Woke Wednesdays with me, Braxton Simpson. I'm extremely excited to be back this summer, continuing my Instagram Live series. This last year has been very eventful. Blessings have been flowing. God has been moving in my life, and I feel that I'm in an even better place to offer my advice and share my personal experiences than ever before. The Lord has placed it on my heart to continue to share, so I will be doing just that. Now, I know some of you may be wondering what Woke Wednesdays are. The term woke does not refer to being knowledgeable about any topic, and it does not only pertain to Black people. The phenomenon of being woke is an urge to challenge systemic injustices and problematic societal norms through awareness. Becoming woke refers to people being completely aware of the injustice, the discrimination, the racism, and or the ignorance conducted in the space a person inhabits, regardless of their skin tone. Being woke means being aware, and on Woke Wednesdays, we will have discussions with hopes to make this world a more socially aware place. So, today's topic is the importance of learning to be comfortable being uncomfortable. I welcome your woke moments, ask questions, drop comments, and we will talk about it. So, over the last year, I have had several experiences that have challenged my willingness to push forward. Comfort will do that to you. By the end of my senior year of high school, I had kind of gotten to a point where I felt like I had maxed out. I graduated with a 4.0, my business was popping, money was rolling in, life was good. Little did I know that there was so much more in me. I had become complacent with my situation, with my location, and with my relations, not knowing that where I was a year ago is now a place that holds absolutely nothing of significant value to me. Not knowing that within 1 year, the people that I felt were so important would no longer be people I even talked to. Not knowing that I would enter a new arena in which I would accomplish so much because I was put into uncomfortable situations in which I had to fend for myself and build relationships and talk to people I thought I never talked to and speak on things I never thought I'd speak on. Not knowing that leaving home, leaving everything that I built on, everything that became second nature to me, everything that was comfortable for me, everything I loved would allow me to grow beyond measures. Y'all, I honestly asked God, what is next for me? Where are you taking me? Lord, I am patiently waiting on this next chapter. And y'all, let me tell you, I wasn't even ready for what God picked me up out of and placed me in. Your comfort zone will kill you. Now, so let's fast forward. So, how did I get into agriculture? I jumped in blind. So coming to TSU, I literally had no idea. I knew that I wanted to be in business. Business is my passion. Everybody knows me, knows I love business. And I knew that wasn't enough. I knew I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but I had to take a leap of faith. I knew that something I was always passionate about being from Atlanta is I always see people that are hungry that can't feed themselves. So how can I be a part of the change? I want to feed the world. So that's what I want to do, and that's what I'm going to do. So I got into agribusiness, and y'all, I got into agriculture, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into. After being in a class a week, I realized there was so much I did not know and so much I had to learn. I almost felt at a disadvantage. Here I am, a city girl, never really been exposed to agriculture. Don't know anything about crops, don't know anything about animals, and I'm sitting in class with people who grew up on farms, who grew up in rural areas, who know what they're talking about, who are well-versed in agriculture, and they know what's going on. And I was behind, and it was time for me to catch up. So, fast forward, I tried everything. I got into research. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm sitting here in the lab, coats on, instruments I've never seen before, bacteria being placed here into these dishes. I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna try. I went to conferences, didn't know what was going on. I actually had the opportunity to travel to Minnesota, Chicago, and even California on faith, knowing there was no There was so much I didn't know, but striving to make this uncomfortable situation as comfortable as possible by learning and being a sponge to information and taking advantage of the opportunity to learn from industry professionals, doing the things I saw myself doing in the near future. Instead of sitting back and feeling embarrassed that I didn't know what other people may have known. Instead of focusing on the fact that I was the youngest or that I was the only black woman in the room, if anything, I knew I deserved to be in the room because I had gotten myself there. So I had no choice but to own it. I started learning and I started making the most of this uncomfortable situation, and I started winning. Research opportunities, research competitions I'm winning, scholarships, conference slots, all because I tuned into my abilities and my capabilities and stopped worrying about everything I didn't know and finding a way to figure it out. I stopped taking no for an answer and found a way to turn a no's into yeses. So it's December and I landed an internship. So I'm like, what am I gonna do? I don't know anything about corn. I'm so far away from home. Iowa. So, the same thing I've been doing. You could do it. You're a boss. You're not new to this. You grew to this. So a month ago, I arrived in Grinnell, Iowa. Country town, one main street, nothing but corn and cows. No car, living by myself. And I don't see anybody here that looks quite like me. As you can imagine, a Georgia peach straight out of Atlanta coming to a small town like this alone, I was definitely nervous, anxious, and a little uncomfortable. But, and when I arrived at work, the site was huge. There was equipment I've never seen before, people doing things that were foreign to me, people conducting complex processes that are completely new to me, fields that stretch further than I could see, and it was just very overwhelming. But at the end of the day, I knew I was here to work and to learn as much as I could. Here I am, striving to be comfortable in the midst of an uncomfortable situation. And I can honestly say, walking into work, I knew absolutely nothing about what I was there to do. And here we are 1 month later, and I know a whole lot more. There's still so much I don't know, but I can assure you I'll strive to know it by the end of the summer. But, I walk into work every day, full on confidence, ready to learn as much as I possibly can, because I realize there is a bigger picture and that I am here to make the steps, to take the steps necessary for me to get where I want to get in order to be exactly who I want to be. And in order to do that, the idea of comfort had to go out the window. The idea of accessibility and convenience had to be washed out of my mind. There's no room for that when you want to succeed. There's only room for laser focus on a goal. Whether that means I'll have to run, jump, fly to get there, it has to happen. Whether it comes with a few bruises, scratches, and tears, by all means necessary. So, anybody that has plans on being successful, who has goals of being the first, dreams of being the best, must learn to be comfortable in the midst of an uncomfortable situation. Your comfort zone will kill you because you cannot grow where you are comfortable. So what does it mean to be comfortable being uncomfortable? So I'll take questions from our viewers on today's topic. I actually have my best friend here. So if you guys have any questions, you can ask them. So I'm going to ask you a question.
Wait, no, you can't ask me a question until I brag on you. First of all, a lot of you may or may not know me. I'm Alexis McKinney, her god sister, best friend, soror, whatever you want to call it. She's a very important person to me. And our topic today is being out of your comfort zone, the importance of being out of your comfort zone. And she has done that in every way and then some.
Thanks, girl.
Whether that's, tunnel vision for her goals, whether that's business-wise, entrepreneur. She's out here in Iowa, okay? I'm here to visit, and there's nothing but green, okay? Nothing but, there's some cute shops, you know what I'm saying? But she's out here cooking, she's cleaning, she's doing everything she has to do because she has tunnel vision, all because she went out of her comfort zone.
Yep. So.
Push her. So she said a lot of important things, and I feel like, first of all, thank you for inviting me. But I feel like I'm here to maybe take it in a different point of view because I know a lot of us, we have goals. Some of us are in college, high school, just graduated maybe, want to be an entrepreneur. But some of us were really heavy in, some extracurricular activities, as I was. And as a kid, I always felt like, school was very important to me, very good grades. My parents got on to me about that. Always staying on top of what you have to do because grades come first.
Right.
But I'm a very athletic girl. And when I was younger, it was always, let me try soccer, let me try dance, let me try this. And I felt like nothing was really working for me. And I became uncomfortable. I felt like I wasn't fitting anywhere. I felt like, I'm just, the girl who worries about grades, the nerd. But I want to be able to have an outlet. And when I was a freshman in high school, I found competitive cheerleading. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically like, it's almost like sideline cheer, but you get a 2-minute and 30-second routine, and you hit like a mat in front of judges, and they judge you. And, the scores could be 0.5 away from each other. It's a really, really competitive sport. And I tried it and I fell in love with it. But as everything else in life, you get uncomfortable with things.
Yeah.
Things aren't working out. I finally found my place, but that doesn't mean anything. There's trials, there's tribulations. And as a kid, I was very much into the church, and I always went by one of my favorite verses, Joshua 1:9. In that verse, to summarize it, is just be strong, be courageous. Your Lord, your God is with you wherever you go. And I always kept that in my mind, but sometimes we get uncomfortable, we slip up, we forget where we were going. We forget that tunnel vision. And, I did it from freshman year. I felt good. And I was in my comfort zone because I could tumble, I could do the jumps, I could do the 2-minute and 30-second routine without feeling out of breath. And sophomore year came, and it was the same thing. I was started to become, the girl who didn't really look like everyone else.
Right.
I was, shorter. I had muscles, but I wasn't as strong as I wanted to be. I wasn't as tough as I wanted to be. And the tumbling started to get harder and harder as I got up in levels. And my senior year was when I became uncomfortable because, I was always in my comfort zone. Right. I was always the leader. I was always the one pushing other people while also having the skills. But I became uncomfortable when I was put in a situation by my coach where I had to do running, tumbling that I felt like I couldn't do.
Right.
And I started to get down on myself, and I started to tell myself, well, I'm not comfortable. Like, I can't, this is not what I need to be doing. And I started asking my coach, please take me out, please take me out. And it's like, now that I look back, it's okay to be uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. It's okay to realize this is not going how I want it to. But that's when that verse comes back up, that Joshua 1:9 comes back up, and it's like, I'm always with you. You need to hear me out. Like, you can keep pushing, because obviously, there's room for improvement everywhere. But you can't grow unless you're uncomfortable. That's with everything. And I started to become uncomfortable. I was asking my coach, please take me out, please take me out. And she was like, no, I believe in you. Be strong, be courageous. Get out of your comfort zone. You can do it. I wouldn't put you through it if I didn't think you could do it.
Right.
And I started to realize everything that you want is on the other side of fear. Mm-hmm. Is on the other side of being uncomfortable.
Right.
And you can't get to that goal that Braxton was talking about. You can't get through that tunnel with that tunnel vision to your goal if you're so focused on, well, I can't do it. Well, why can't you do it?
Yeah.
Push through being uncomfortable. Do what you have to do. I started doing tumbling classes. I started going to my coach in particular to push through. When we had to do the running tumbling, I did it multiple times, and I kept pushing myself because that was the only way that I could go from uncomfortable to comfortable. And then some. Don't even stay comfortable.
Yeah.
Push yourself even more. Surpass it. Do what you have to do. And that was probably one of the biggest lessons I learned, not only extracurricular wise and sports wise, but that's everything. Whether that's academically, whether that's I can't get this math problem right, I feel like I'm failing math, what do I need to do? Go to a tutor. Push yourself. Get out of that
that comfort zone.
Yeah, that comfort zone, because being comfortable, you're settling. And God put us all on this earth to be woke and to get out of our comfort zone. And that's the only way to keep pushing. But I'm not going to talk too long, but that was a really important lesson to me. And I hope that y'all can, take something from that and hopefully send a few questions and push yourselves out of your comfort zone.
Yes. So we have a question. In what way can You encourage your peers to step out of their comfort zone. And honestly, I live by this. My mom tells me this all the time. God did not give you the spirit of fear.
Yeah.
If you keep that in the back of your mind at all times, there's nothing that you can't do. There's nothing that you should be afraid of. What are you, if you really think about it, what are you afraid of? Hard work?
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Are you lazy? Like, that's the only thing that it could be. If you can really tunnel in and focus in on your goals, and you realize that, you want to succeed as much as you want to breathe. Like, if you're living and dying and just breathing your goals and wanting to truly do what you say you're going to want to do, that stuff comes easy for you.
Right.
And just trying to reach your goals and remaining focused, it's okay to be out of your comfort zone. It's okay for things not to go as planned. But as long as you keep that in the back of your mind, there's no reason for me to be afraid. I can do it. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
I agree. I feel like it's easier said than done, and it's hard for us as humans to give other people advice and push our peers, because a lot of times we find ourselves in the same situations, especially us young people. But I feel like it's okay to be there for the other person. It's okay to fail and get back up, because that's you getting out of your comfort zone. That's a part of it. Yeah, that's a part of it. I mean, like, if you think about everything that you've been through in life, there's no way that you could have grown, glowed up, got better if you didn't fail.
And I'm just thinking, just going back to my story, like, the things that I've accomplished since I started, and I had to move away from home, and I had to start on my new journey. At the time, I was sad, and oh my gosh, like, I'm having to leave my friends, and I'm having to leave my family, and this sucks. But now I'm sitting here working for a Fortune 500 company, and I knew nothing about agriculture a year ago.
Yeah.
I knew nothing. All I knew is that I want to help feed the world. That's all I knew. But details, the small things, I didn't know any of that stuff. And there's still so much that I don't know. But having that courage, having that determination, and just going out on a limb and saying, you know what, I'm gonna be uncomfortable. You'll be fine. My whole last year has been an uncomfortable situation. Sitting in rooms with people that are a lot smarter than me, that know a lot about something that I want to know about, and taking the initiative to just sit back and learn from them, because there's a lot that I don't know, and there's a lot there is for me to learn. And taking what I've learned and trying to apply that, and you start to see the benefits of putting in that hard work and just saying, hey, I'm going to have to be uncomfortable for this small amount of time, but it's going to reap great returns.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the year, in January, I walked into a lab. I didn't know anything about microbiology. I just said, you know what, I'm gonna do research, because I need to learn a little bit more about my major and what I want to do, and figure out things that I'm interested in. Yeah. I'm sitting here, I'm learning about salmonella and Listeria and E. coli. And next thing you know, I'm doing research under the CDC, and I won a competition. And my something that I knew nothing about in January, I knew a whole lot about in May. And I'm hoping the same things will play out after this internship. I came here on a limb. I don't know anybody, and that's okay. I'm kind of bored on the weekends sometimes, but I know that one day this investment in my future is definitely gonna pay off.
Yeah,
for sure.
All because you went out of your comfort zone.
You gotta get out of your comfort zone.
Too. It's hard though. It really is hard sometimes, but you just can't be complacent, and that's with everything. You cannot be complacent. You can't sit still. You can't be stagnant. You just got to keep pushing, like, no matter how hard it is. And you're gonna get knocked down sometimes, but if you're not getting up, you're just being comfortable.
Right.
And you gotta keep pushing no matter how hard it is. And my mom always tells me, your time is coming. It might not be right now. It might not be tomorrow. Like Braxton said, she didn't know anything about what she's doing in January, and now she's doing big things, crazy big things. And it's like you can't knock yourself down and be complacent, because there's so many opportunities out here. There's so many things that you can learn and paths that you can take for the better.
Yep.
And it's really important that you just realize that, like I said, everything that you want, everything that you feel is important, your goals, what you aspire to be, who you aspire to be like, is on the other side of fear, is on the other side of being uncomfortable. And it's hard, you know, sometimes, but
it's something you gotta do.
It's something you have to do.
Yeah, so like we said, gotta learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. You cannot grow where you're comfortable. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Be sure to DM me any topics you want to see featured on the next Woke Wednesday, and I will see you next week. Remember,
Thanks for having me.
Wake up or stay asleep.